For this project you will need needles that correspond to the weight of your wool. Most wool, when you buy it, will have something on the back that will say what corresponding wool size you should knit it with. But my wool suggests to be knit with 4mm needles, which most DK will do. I recommend about 100 grams, which is most regular weight of a DK ball of wool. These are too short to do my entire project. However, I find these less unwieldy when I'm doing casting on and some of the more fiddly bits. If you look comparison to the needles I'll be casting on with, these are a lot longer. Now, personally, I like to use these, and then when I need them, I'll use slightly bigger needles. You can just start with the big needles. That's entirely a matter of personal preference. You probably won't need this till right at the end of your project, but a little pair of scissors, any scissors will do. These are my favourites. And you will want a darning needle. Doesn't really matter what kind. You can use the plastic ones if you have those. You might just find that you like to do the notes app on your phone. That's fine. I like to have a real notebook for when I keep track of my knitting stuff. Realistically, the only two things you need are wool and knitting needles. So first thing we're going to do is make a slip knot. You don't need a very long tail for this cast on, so don't worry about that. You'll want enough to comfortably weave in at the ends, but really it's no biggie. I like to do a knitted on cast on, and we're only starting with 2 stitches for this shawl, so it is super easy. We've just cast on, ta-da. Now for your first row we just knit 2, 1 and 2, and then we will turn. Now for row 2 we will knit in the front and the back of our stitches. So you've got your wool, you go through the front loop like so, you knit it, but we don't take that stitch off our needle. Instead we go in and we knit it. So we've knit 2 stitches into 1 stitch. I'll show you again here. The front loop, don't pull it off your needle, through the back loop, knit into it again, and there you have now got 4 stitches from our original 2. For row 3, this is where we're going to change things up a tiny bit. Knit 1, knit in the front and in the back of your second stitch, then you'll have 3 stitches on your right hand needle. Then you'll just knit 2, now you should have 5 stitches on your needle here. Turn your work again. For row 4, knit 1, knit front and back loops to increase, then knit 3. That will give you 6 stitches on your needle like so. Row 5, the same again. Knit 1, knit in the front loop, knit in the back loop, knit the remaining stitches, which will give you 7 stitches on your needle. Row 6 is the row that we're going to then repeat ad infinitum, which is why I call it the infinity scarf. You just repeat row 6 until your scarf is as wide as you want it. So, row 6. This will give us the cute little border that I'll show you just here. So the section I've just completed is this little tiny bit of my scarf here. Row 6. We will knit 2, 1, 2, knit into the front loop, knit into the back loop, take it off, there you go, 4 stitches there. Then you will knit the remaining stitches on your needles. That will give you 8 stitches in total. Then, so we are only ever increasing 1 stitch per row. Row 7, knit 1, knit 2, knit in the front loop, knit in the back loop, then knit all of your stitches towards the end. That will then give you 9 stitches on your shawl. You just repeat this over and over again, because once you've got past row 6, you literally do not have to think about it, and after a while it will just become second nature. From a 100-gram ball of wool, like the one we just wound up, you should be able to get a shawl up to 150 stitches wide. I have been stash busting, so this shawl is only 130 stitches wide and is a little shorter than I would like it. You can see that I actually ran out of wool as I lost that game of yarn chicken. I only had 62 grams of this wool, so 62 grams will get you a shawl that is this big. It's really more of a neckerchief than a shawl. You'll just carry on, and at every third stitch you'll knit into the front and back loops. Gonna knit a little bit further on my sample, and then I will show you how I cast off. The nice thing about these shawls is that they do knit up very quickly. I can knit one up in several evenings, or if I'm commuting, and it takes me about a week of a few hours here and there to do. If you wanted to do a particularly long shawl, it could take you a bit longer. So you can already see just a little bit here that my border is now starting to come into its own. My shawl is now 15 stitches wide, and I will show you how to cast off with my little sample. This is a slightly stretchy bind off. Don't worry if your work looks a little bit wavy. I will show you how to block your work later, and that will solve that problem. Don't worry about that. That will disappear during blocking. To do the stretchy bind off that I personally prefer, I will work thusly. I will knit 2 stitches, just as normal. I will slip these stitches back onto this needle. I'll go through both of them, and I will knit. Then I will knit another stitch. Go through that, knit, and cast off. So keep casting off until you get to the end of your row. Then normally I would cut my wool, pull it through this loop, and then sew my ends in and then block my piece. But because this is a sample and I don't want to waste this little bit of wool, what I'm actually going to do is once I've finished this demonstration, I'm just going to unravel it and use this wool for something else. Now we know how to cast on and cast off. You can make this obviously as wide or as short as you would like it to be. These are just good fun to knit. They work up really quickly and they make very lovely gifts, and they are excellent stash busters. If you wanted to do like stripes with shorter bits of wool, you'd have to weave a lot of ends in, but it would be an absolutely fantastic use of very little tiny scraps of leftover wool. Without further ado, I will show you how to block your knitting. I do find that with this shawl, even in acrylic, that giving it a little bit of a steam block does do wonders for the drape of the shawl, and also to get rid of some of the irregularities in our cast off. In order to block your knitting, the first thing you need to do is pin it out and stretch your piece to the size and shape that you want it. I personally like to steam block acrylic, as I'm demonstrating here. It's much faster than wet blocking and works well for this fibre. You just have to take care that your iron never touches the acrylic yarn, or you could melt it. This does work for natural fibres, but for me, personally with wool, I'd rather fully wet block my pieces and allow them to dry naturally. If you don't have access to a steam iron or are using wool fibres, you can simply soak your shawl in water, gently squeeze it dry in a rolled up towel, and then pin it out in the shape you want onto a dry towel, foam blocking mat, or ironing board until it's dried out completely. I am so happy with how this pattern and scarf turned out. I think they're adorable. This one is actually destined to be a gift for a friend. and I am super thrilled with it. I originally filmed this section outside and then realised that I had managed to get the entire thing really out of focus, so you'll have to excuse the change of location for the next few clips. For a little scarf, I love how versatile these are. I like to wear it like this. I think they're really comfy, they're warm, they're nice for spring, to be honest. A little bit nippy sometimes, and you just want something but you don't want a big scarf. I genuinely love these. I didn't think I was going to be a small scarf person. Turns out I really am. I think they're pretty ace, actually. Everyone needs a small scarf, hence the free pattern. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wear this all the time. Join me next week. I will be back on my historical knitting for my next video. Hopefully next week, but if I don't finish it in time, then you'll simply see me the week after, with any luck on a Friday, although my uploading schedule seems to have gone to pot somewhat, so you'll find out when I do. Ta-ra! Oh, and you can like, comment and subscribe and so forth if the mood so takes you, or don't. I'm not your mother, I can't tell you what to do. There, I remembered, I said it, because you guys picked up that it was a running joke I made in like 3 videos, and apparently now it's a thing we do. Bye!